Welcome back, everybody, to Detrás de Cama with Carla Montalvan. I am your host. As I say in every video, just because it seems to be a trend, if you like what we're talking about on this podcast, if it resonates with you, if you feel like your questions are being answered and you feel seen, then please leave us a comment, subscribe, give us a like, send us some messages. We really, really do appreciate it when you do. And also so we can keep talking about sex openly and talking about pleasure openly. And to all my Latinas out there, thank you so much for coming to me, sending me your messages, telling me that you have also felt this way sometime before. Para eso estamos, una servidora. Bueno, so today we're continuing on with our Q&As. Whenever you send us questions, we will dedicate an entire podcast episode to answering one question at a time. So if you see that your question has not been answered yet, espérate un poquito, ten un poquito de paciencia, we'll get to you, okay? But I love the topic, love the topic of today's question, which is, can you please, and I will read this directly from my teléfono, could you please demystify some of the greatest female orgasm myths? Ooh. Female, and I'm talking about female orgasm myths. Sorry, guys, we're not talking about you today. And yes, we can. So I'm going to talk to you about 5 of the most common myths relating to the female orgasm and how they affect us and how we can tackle them. And if you feel like you've been a victim of these myths, please call 1-800 Detrás de Cama and we will get you legal help. Okay, that was a joke. Let's talk about myth number 1. And I really actually think this is an important myth to talk about, which is that vaginas should all look the same. Number 1, let's start by debunking the vagina. So if we're looking at a vagina, or if we're looking at our vagina in a mirror, then we'll see that there's an outer part and then there's an inner part. The outer part is actually called the vulva. And the vulva is where our outer lips are, inner lips, the clitoris, you'll see the urethra, and the opening to the vaginal canal. And I personally am one of those people that is pushing for coño to be the official word for vagina, since vagina actually means like where the sword is hidden. And let's face it, no one's hiding no sword down there. But that's for another podcast episode. So there's a lot of people that think that vaginas have to look a certain way. And now there's all these like surgical procedures where you can get, the outer lips and the inner lips trimmed so that, it looks a certain way. No, vaginas are supposed to look different. Have you ever seen a penis that looks the same? Like you go through a gallery of penises and everybody just has the same penis? No. So then why should vulvas all look the same? So whether yours looks like an orchid or it looks like a plum or a peach, all vaginas are beautiful, all vaginas are acceptable, and all of them have their own unique way of being touched, of perceiving pleasure, of feeling things, whether you have them with hair on them, like a little fuzzy, or you have them bare, whatever floats your boat. Fall in love with your vulva. Look at it, touch it, get to know it, and always remember that the clitoris is not a DJ turntable. It is not. We're not here to play some tunes. We're here to have some pleasurable times and an orgasm if possible. Okay, next, some of the other ones that I wrote here. Here we go. Sex means vaginal penetration. False. Okay, I really like to emphasize that this is false. False narratives. False. Although many people refer to sex or having sex, I had sex with someone, as I had, coitus with someone, as in a penis penetrated a vagina and bam, we had sex. No. There are other ways of having sex. And actually, most women get more pleasure from things that don't require penetration than from penetration itself. It's, in fact, I think, and I have the statistic here in one of my notes, and I will read it to you, that about 75% of women just don't have orgasms. And most of them require at least, as a rule of thumb, at least 20 minutes of sexual stimulation of some sort in order to reach orgasm. And most of the stimulation can come from clitoral stimulation on the outside, nipple stimulation, your elbows, your feet, anywhere, the neck, the nape of the neck, the earlobes, kissing. There are so many other ways of having sex that don't only mean, oh, we had oral sex, we touched each other, there was fingering, we used a toy, he sucked on my tits. All of those things are sex. So just so we know. And another thing that I really want to have, you know what? We'll leave it for myth number 3. Myth number 3. Women can be ready quickly for penetration. And here I would like to bring the mythological debunked concept of vaginas are like ovens. Women are ovens and men are microwaves. The thing is this, and I will showcase this with my cup of water. If you could imagine that a guy has to move about the amount of a shot glass in order to get aroused, well, then it's kind of like a microwave. You know, you pop in the pizza, you press one, it all gets started, and bam, it's ready to go. You eat it, bam, bam, we're done, right? But women, we have to move about this much, maybe a little more liquid in order to get aroused. And we're like ovens. And let's face it, if you would have stuck that pizza in an oven, it would have come out so crispy and that cheese would have been like all gooey and perfect. So time is of the essence here, in the sense of the more time you spend stimulating and working around that arousal and getting those sex organs working and moving that breath down to your vulva and down to your sex organs, the better your sex life is going to be. Take your time. Take your time. If you don't have time to have sex, then don't have sex. If you don't have time to masturbate, then don't masturbate. Because it is so much better for you to do this when you actually have time and have time to give yourself pleasure than to be rushing through things like, ¿qué es esto? This is not an In-N-Out burger. No, this is sex. All right, myth number 4. Most women orgasm during intercourse. Of course. And I would like to give a standing ovation to porn for doing this for us. And actually, no. So as I was saying before, studies show that about 75% of women do not have orgasms from penetration alone. They do not. That's 75%. 75%. 75% do not. No tienen. Niente. Nada. Nothing. That's more than half. Okay? And they do not reach orgasm during vaginal intercourse. As much as penetration is pleasurable, please, for the love of God, for the love of whatever you believe in, take your time exploring your body, take your time exploring your erogenous zones, and take your time finding out where those orgasmic points are in your body. And, give that clitoris some love. Because more often than not, when you stimulate the clitoris during penetration, and if there's any sort of friction, you will have an orgasm and it'll be magical. But that outside stimulation is super important. All right, let's see. Myth number 5. Okay, I think this is a very good one. There is only one place where you can have an orgasm, and it is only at the tip of the clitoris. Again, I think we need to get more acquainted with our anatomy, right? I think, like, I don't know about you guys, but for example, for me, my mom, my grandparents, my aunts and uncles, I never had these conversations growing up about sex, right? Like, being a Latina, actually there was a lot of just lack of sexual education. And I didn't even know, I had no idea that the clitoris was as big as it is. And it is just this beautiful, beautiful piece of work, right? And there's so many things that you can do to stimulate it, and there are so many ways to go. So there might be the case, and if you're feeling this way, that when either you're masturbating or someone is pleasuring you, that you might feel, oh my God, I'm super weird, because on porn, or my friend over here, Fefita, told me that this is how she has orgasms and this is how she does it. Just because Fefita has orgasms the way Fefita has orgasms doesn't mean that you have them. And just, this is not a myth, but I'm going to add this in there. Sometimes your friends are lying to you. They're lying. Many people are lying to you about their sex life. Even though many people may be having amazing sex life, the truth is that the majority of them are not, because they're not communicating with their partners, because they're not telling their partners, oh yeah, when you rub my clitoris like it's, a 1970s DJ set, it hurts me, it doesn't pleasure me. Or when they stick your fingers up there really hard, it feels like you're giving me a gynecological exam, not like you're fingering me with pleasure. Then everything changes, right? So again, there are so many other places. There's closer to the, opening of your vagina, the top, of course, of the clitoris, the outside of your thighs, your nipples. For the love of God, if you have not had a nipple orgasm, please go and explore your breasts and let me know how it goes. And explore them in your partner too, because guys actually really like that. All right, well, that was 5 myths. I know it seems very short. We could talk about this all day long because it's such a passionate subject, but I promise that we will do a part 2. If you have any myths that you want to talk about, or that you've heard, or that your Latina mom has told you, or your grandmother, or your tias, or your friends, send them to us. We will debunk them during the podcast. And this is not something that we'll do just one day. We're hoping to have part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5, as many parts as are necessary. And we'll do them 5 at a time. So if this information was helpful to you, if you find that you have been, listening to these myths and they've affected your sex life, let us know. Let us know how you're working through it. And follow us, subscribe, comment, and we'll be here for next time. Until then, this was Detrás de Cama.